this. It's your Daily Rail from bridge70.com. I could see this morning that it's actually, I can't say it's good or bad, but it's certainly different, the view that I'm used to, right? It's beggars belief whether that wood is there either to annoy me or going to be removed or was supposed to be removed or was trying to cover the damage to bridge70.com. But you can now see, look at that, you can now see on the left there, the Walthamstow coat hanger has actually got, check this out, it's actually got a dropper in place to the right under the bridge, and it actually opens up to about approximately 4 to 5 inches from here, and yeah, it goes in tight to there. This right hand side is still the original Walthamstow coat hanger, right? But as we go over here and take a look at the 1894 entrance to the Walthamstow cut, as instructed by Tom Warner, we can then have a look and see what's happening now. So we're on Bridge 70 now. Very interesting. I thought these guys, because usually when they're trying to squeeze in one on the weekend, they're actually normally now, because time is so tight, and the quest for passenger from TfL, Arriva, DB Germany is so tight that you don't often get a full Sunday off, but they obviously found it a need to get a full Sunday off, and NR and Belfast and Podrak are all down there, and you can still see them working there now. Still 7 wagons out, but it's quite interesting. I mean, you know, I don't want to frame anybody in the picture, but it's pretty unanimous now that Stobart Rail acted up. That comes from both sides of the argument, whether you're a direct subcontractor from Network Rail or whether you're a subcontractor from Murphy. You know, even the Irish are saying that, as they said all along, and I won't repeat the quotes I said earlier along, and they were only coming from the Irish that had actually defected from Murphy over to the other side. Now, Podtrack are doing so well, also Irish, that they're about to become principal contractor. Not on this job. Well, they might do in a couple of years if it's still going. But the fact is, which means they will not be no longer working for Murphy or Belfast. They're coming up so far. And I was asking them yesterday, where is all the money coming from? There's masses and masses and masses of money coming there. Anybody can look up Podtrack. I mean, they've gone from zero to hero. It's, you know, and I've seen that all along. They're working on the Goblin now. They're working on the Star. They're working on the Lee Valley. They're working all the way over the shop, right? And Tony, the Irish lorry driver, they've got all new Scania S750 V8s on order. As well, they've got bags of stuff on order. They can't get enough. They've got the Unimogs there, you know, they've got everything. So they're obviously up and coming. Now I was trying to work out how that happened and then obviously we'd got to talking about Irish, and it was like, well, Murphy, you know, this is a 57 grand job originally for Murphy, right? And then they all cleared off after, well, I don't want to give too much away. Shall we say Guinness and horse racing, right? And he knows that as well, right? So then they were doing a good job, but then Stobart fit up, yeah? And then it all went wrong. You can't actually put anybody in the frame. This is allegedly, or everything that I've just said is allegedly, right? But the fact is, all of these gantries and, well, as you know, the masts or pylons, whichever way you want to call them, have been replaced twice. The news, if you look up historically, they're still saying that the wrong design, but that's completely crap. You know, as I said all along, if Network Rail want to blame wrong design and late delivery, we know one thing in this life: if anybody has two excuses, you know that they're wrong a mile off. And I saw that before I even heard it, right? So it's getting I don't want to go too much into it right now, but it's well, I really don't know what to say apart from the fact that all these bridges were supposed to be replaced, and that stuff was spec'd out for the job, bearing in mind bridge replacement that then Waltham Forest had to take care of. And that's why all the bridges on Pretoria and all the cycle lanes down there became cycle lanes as they closed them off, because they wouldn't take responsibility for them. And to put it on the record from an official, quite high up maintenance bridge structural engineer for Network Rail, he's saying that all of those bridges down there, including this one that I'm standing on now, what is now iconic bridge70.com, all of the bridges down there, 57, 58, 59, 60, are all on temporary 3-month renewals, right? Now, it gets worse, right? Now, we know that Network Rail only looked after their own bridges, i.e. railway bridges, right? This is an OB, it's an overbridge, right? But more to the point, a lot of these subcontractors don't know what has gone on. And they're still, as I said, Belfast and Podtrack are the best people I've seen on here. And even earlier, there was a guy there, a little junior NR guy, telling Belfast what to do. Now, Belfast are number 1 rated in construction UK, yeah? They're not rated number 1 in rail, so they're learning as they go along. But they've got Podtrack with them, which is a terrific team from what I've seen, terrific team, and they've had to pick up all the shit that Stobart Rail have done on this, because the pitch angle is wrong, isn't it? Now, this is the 6th, look at the bashing on there that's gone on, this is a 6th OLE reset here now. Don't forget, we've had 3 track resets because Stobart Rail didn't even know there was a bloody Victorian drain under the bridges. So it only gets worse. But NR are up there. I was talking to them, and it was like obviously a little junior NR talking to Balfour, and it's like I can see where there's a cock up here. I mean, a lot of these Balfour boys have been in the rail industry for 30 years, 35 years. They've gone from British Rail to Rail Track to NR, and they know the coup. And you've got these yet again newly, I'm not envious of them because they're on more money than I am, but these newly graduated juniors, right, who are, you know, learnt some CGI in college, and they go, yeah, that can go under there. You know, perhaps that's one reason why they had that whatever it is, weird thing. I could never say that word, but the weird thing, they were scoping here all the time to try and work out the rails on that. And technically, if you're going to build a building or do anything in engineering, is that you need to put that they need to get rid of. And I wish I could remember it. It's like a Leica thing on 3 tripod things. You know the thing I'm talking about, right? They had them there. There's even a couple buried in the hedges. And actually, the guy from Podtrack actually said yesterday, you wouldn't believe the stuff that's buried under there that Stobart left behind. Everybody now knows that Stobart completely fucked this up, right? For the record. But Network Rail turned their head and turned the other way. Obviously, they don't want the attention. They don't want any bad news. But there's been a stranger in the dark covering this for nearly 2 years, and you know, believe me, I know what's going on. I don't want to get into any trouble. Well, I've got into trouble before, but you know, let's not forget, yeah, this was double manning on Murphy's, 140 men on this at one point. They were doing a good job until it all went wrong. That piling in there, that sheet piling on the right is crap, because even the other pilots came down and looked at that. It wasn't necessary, because the computer said yes to freeform, that's a monitor, freeform plus. I think it's freeform 4D now. It was 3D plus, now it's 4D. You had the monitors, and then you had the other ones. And what was it? Your man Hendy was having carrying the head glasses for this like thing, and he was wowed and amazed. And this, believe it or not, is the biggest. I was going to say cock up, but this is the first. This is the biggest job ever for that freeform, right, on rail. And it's 12 miles long, and it's failed, right? We know that. Anybody who's covering my stuff has known that. It's nearly 17 hours of video now, right? But I've had to delete a lot of it. 'Cause it's, you know, if anybody wants to think that I'm sitting in there watching that all night, I tell you what, you can forget that. It's just been all stacking up until I run out of hard drives, right? But the other thing is, a lot of firsts on this job because it was the smallest line. I think people know by now, but because it's the smallest line, a little short backwater, to be honest with you, pathetic. Well, yeah, pathetic. The Goblin is a shuttle service. Let's get that straight. Goblin is a pathetic shuttle service. It's not about that, is it? It's not about that. It's going back to 1894 in the Tottenham Forest Gate Railway, where this was connected up to all the other ones. It actually went to Forest Gate, which it doesn't go to anymore. You can't go to Forest Gate anymore, and that's how it was built, right? So it's nothing to do. Goblin is just a modern phrase, right? The amount of freight on here at night is every less than 5 minutes you get massive freight on here, massive freight lumbering down here, right? The pitch angle there has changed, so they go lumbering it, well, not lumbering, speeding down here. Sometimes on test drives I would estimate about between 80 and 90 miles an hour. When the engineer told me, the guy who was actually doing the clearing said that it's limited to 45 miles an hour, he nearly had a fit, right? That speed has been increased and decreased. This OLE, when this is finished, well, technically the lines are finished, it's limited to 100 miles. It should be good for 100 miles an hour. But because you go up and under to dive Victorian drains and steel-based bridges, yeah, and Stobart Rail didn't know about that, and then you've got trains coming down it. As I said earlier on, I said this nearly 2 years ago, that it resembles more like a roller coaster ride now. We've talked about the slab track. You know, anybody who wants a slab track argument, that's dead. I can finish that. That's dead. I don't care what any news person. I'm not saying I'm, the boss of everything, but I can see it just from video evidence. So forget your, conspiracy theories, right? Now, on there, you'll see that I still can't work out whether they put a stopper on there or not. Some of them have got stoppers on, yeah. Some of them got boosters. Some of them have got the Italian Omnia stuff that's actually built for trams in Italy. So it's very, very lightweight, and they want to have this to carry freight, which personally I don't see that happening. We've had a couple of incidents here. For the record, we've had a Ford train hitting, not here, but further down. We've had a Ford train taking out one of these bars because it was spastic, yeah. And then we've had Stobart Rail, not only one guy lose his finger because he wasn't wearing gloves, but two other heavily damaged fingers from Stobart Rail because they weren't wearing gloves. I think that pretty much sums it up. And when Belfar and Podtrack come in here and say we're trying to pick up the shit, which they are, they really mean that. They really are trying to pick up the shit. And it's still now, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want to go on to that. But anyway, look at that. So, it's obviously not live again because it's on the 6th line reset, but they have changed that a little bit there now, right? And they've changed it a little bit further up, and they've taken off some of the bars as well that were random and skew with. I mean, my lord, that's not my industry. Yeah, if I looked at that, I'd get confused. But it's 78 subcontractors, yeah, and it's still not done. And the trains are arriving now finally, and they're on dual mode 750 DC, which you don't need for here. And as far as this is concerned, I really don't know what this is about. Look at that, even the blocks are cracking now. Look, that's all cracking now. I presume they're going to take this down. It's all pretty much wonky. It's annoying me, obviously. But let's stay with it. We're in the final stages. But I said that a year ago, didn't I? This is your Daily Rail. That is bridge70.com. And that is not live. Join us.